Okay guys, so as you know, we're organizing an EV car show here at Kuala Lumpur, and these two cars were the first to arrive today because they can't be driven, they can't be moved today because these are their display cars. But nevertheless, the rest of the cars will be here today. We have like almost 60 over to 70 EVs. This place in Kuala Lumpur is called Lalaport, a Japanese mall, and that is Lucentia Residences. Okay, and the Q8 e-tron is supposed to be officially launched in Malaysia a few days later, but they're here for a exclusive preview. So since I'm here to receive the cars, why don't I give you guys a thorough walk around. Now, it may be called the Q8 e-tron, but it is in no relation to the petrol combustion engine Q8. Alright, just that in the EV range, the positioning of this is the same as the positioning of the Q8 with regards to the traditional internal combustion engine lineups. Now, the interior space of this car is actually larger than the ICE Q8, but in terms of exterior, it is the size of, let's say, a slightly bigger Audi RS6. That would be the profile of this car. Let me move over here so you guys can have a clearer view of how this car is. All right, look at it. I love the profile. It's not the traditional SUV profile, but it does have the SUV ride height. Okay, and of course, different markets will have different variants being imported into their market. So today I'm not gonna go through the horsepower, the range, because you'll be able to find it on the internet for your respective market. Alright, here is just one unit being displayed here. Maybe Audi will launch with two variants, maybe they will launch with one variant, but that is as where you're watching this video from. I'm from Malaysia. Okay. Now, this car has the profile of a wagon, but slightly taller, but not as tall as a traditional SUV, but with the same ground clearance ride height of what would constitute a crossover, or if you have your Q8 e-tron, you set it to the lower suspension height, it will be somewhat with that in regards. Now, the front is classic Audi design. Audi has created a very distinctive front end ever since Walter de Silva penned the Audi A5, right? Being one of the first in the industry to introduce a massive grille that integrates with the bumper, and also Audi being the first one to integrate the bumper into the bonnet, the fenders and all that. Alright, now the front of the Q8, as we can see, these are the classic Audi headlamps now. Very slim, very sharp, very distinctive, and Audi also being the one that starts creating lighting structures and signatures with regards to daytime running lights. More than 15 years ago, Audi has started doing it. Alright, now coming to the new generation, as you can see, the Audi logos, they are flat. They are not the more physical, as you can see on the e-tron GT next to me, whereas this one is a flat 2D sort of surface. But as you know, when we see this, it means Audi hides all the radar and stuff behind. Alright, so those will be all the sensors that provides autonomous driving. Not fully autonomous yet because it's not legal in many countries. Okay, the front end has a black, gloss black surrounding on the grille, but this is an electric car, so technically it doesn't need a lot of breathing. There's no breathing needed for the engine. It's mostly for the auxiliaries, for the cooling of other systems, and the air conditioning units and all that stuff. Alright, here we see some vents that channels air, alright, over the front wheel arches to smoothen airflow. Down there we see other aero bits, and the bonnet, you can see that Audi pushed the bonnet opening lines all the way to the side on this car, but you can still see the opening line here. But Audi, one thing that Audi does, they never really like to have a cut across the front end, right? They were the very first to begin eliminating lines, opening lines, gaps on their cars, all right, to clean up the surface. All right, so this is a very unique color. I do not know the name of the color. It is somewhat gray, somewhat green, a very modern kind of pastel, but then it's a metallic paint kind of color. Okay, the side mirrors, of course, they fold when you lock it. The cameras are here, the charging ports are here. Okay, and let's unlock the car, and you can see this is how the charging port looks. Amazing, right? When you press the button and then the thing just open up like that, and it just totally fits the sort of sci-fi era of cars. And that's how the lighting looks like when it's light up. Okay, I'm sorry there are a lot of ambient noises because people are cleaning the place, readying for our event later on, right? There are some structures in there that look like diamond reflections, you know, just to flicker the lights around. And these are shotted in Bridgestone SUV tires. As you can see, the tire profile is huge, and that would mean a very comfortable ride. Alright, quick look inside. These are air suspensions. Okay, that means this car, you can adjust the ride height up and down. There's some very nice signature over here, Audi Q8 e-tron Quattro. Coming to the back, you have the same sort of Audi design tail end. So Audi was also the one that sort of began designing the rear end, whereby the plate holder and the entire surface is just one curvature in. So instead of some cars that have a cut off for the number plate, it has a very clean surface. And of course, this is the latest trend, right? A beautiful light strip that runs across the back. There's a e-tron insignia over here, and gloss black as well. Alright, now let's go into the car. Before I go to the cabin, maybe I should come to the rear. Alright, yes, this is definitely more spacious than the Q8 ICE version. Alright, there is a lot of room here. Of course, it's not a limo size car. Okay, it's certainly a little bit more than the equivalent A6 variant, and more than the Q8 ever so slightly. Alright, my feet are size 11.5, and I can comfortably rest my feet on either sides of the rail, and I can also slot my feet below the front seats, and that would mean that if we were to sit 3-person abreast, I will not be fighting any leg room with the passenger in the middle. That will be a perfect place for him to place his foot. There are no tunnels needed. Sometimes, to cater for 4-wheel drive systems, they have an axle running underneath, and then they have a huge bulge over here. This being an EV, it's not needed, but you'll be asking me, hey, I see some cars that are not 4-wheel drives that also has a huge hump in the middle. Why? Now, certain cars, if they don't use as much high-strength tensile steel, or in terms of structural, they need to have a huge bump in the center to create strength for the body of the car. Now, if the car is, strong enough in terms of the body, you don't need that big of a hump to give you structural rigidity. Alright, now the seat backs are really comfortable. The base is really comfortable. As you can see, it's a full length seat base, extends all the way to the back of my knee. I am someone who is 5'11" in height, 179. Okay, and in really hot weather I expand to 180. Okay, that's a joke. Anyway, there are two USB-C ports below. These are touch screens to operate the aircon vents, and then this is the visibility sitting in the back of the car. Visibility is very good. I sit somewhat 10 cms higher than the passenger in front, so I get a rather unhindered view out. Okay, this is still a balanced proportion car instead of an outright SUV with a very tall ceiling to floor height. All right, this is more than the usual sedan, but not as top heavy as an SUV. You get aircon vents over here and also aircon vents over here. So this is really nice because I kind of like cars with aircon vents over here. All right, and the seat belts can be adjusted, the height, and this is for you to install the nets. All right, when you drop the seats down, when you have a lot of luggage, you can actually purchase this to block your luggage from falling forwards. These are the armrests. Okay, a compartment inside here that is thickly carpeted, and then here we have, that's a simple mechanism. Very nice, very elegant, right, for your cup holders. I like this instead of some cars where it's just a cushion and two holes at the back. Okay, you get some reading lights up here, and then you get the blinds to block off sunlight, and I really like the design of this. And this being an Audi interior, you can expect every surface that you touch is top-notch in quality, and fit and finish is top-notch. That has always been an Audi hallmark. All right, Audi has never disappointed in interiors. They remain at the very top in terms of solidity and fit and finish. They have always done that. Okay, come to the front. Alright, I'm not supposed to wind down the windows. Probably I can start the car because it's the Malaysian weather. So, and this is not a petrol combustion car. I can have the aircon running quietly, comfortably inside. Alright, now let's look at the front. Alright, this is the dash of modern Audis. You have a screen in front of you for the speedometers, and then here you have your entertainment screen, and down here you have your air conditioning screen panel. Instead of one large screen, all right, they have it separated, whereas one is nearer to you because you actually interact with it more, presuming it's the infotainment system. Okay. Oh, that's really good haptic feedback. When you press anything, right, the screen actually vibrates a little, creates a little sound, so you have a very positive sense of touch, even though you touch nothing but a flat panel, but the vibration is spot on. Okay, the fit and finish of Audi interiors are just, to be honest, on another level. Everything is just really, really solid. Okay, now let's quickly go through it, or slowly. Yeah, you see the ambient lights, right? I'm sure when you change the lights, the whole mood of the car will change. All right, and here there's a insignia again, e-tron, very nice. It's almost like a branded handbag where you have little badges here and there, you know. All right, so this one, the specs are, I don't have the specs with me. Of course, you can customize your specs as well when you order your car. Rather interesting, thick glove box lid. All right, it's covered in felt inside here, and then you have a pen holder, your card holder. You can put your stuffs inside, and then over here, of course, your radio, media, telephone, navigation, and all that. You have all this here. And in terms of the one in front of the driver, there are a lot of customization options. when Audi first came out with the LCD screen for the driver, they have nailed it first up, where you can expand the whole navigation screen big. Why that is important? Because if you only have one screen that shows navigation, that would also mean that when you go into infotainment, multimedia and all that, you can't see your screen. So what Audi did on the very get-go, I think about, is that almost 10 years ago, right? And they got it right. And yeah, the gear lever, this is really nice. Now this is, the entire thing is not a lever, this is a palm rest, but the gears, you move this metal bit front and back. Okay, put my foot on the brakes, push it. Very ergonomic and very stylish, very modern looking, and it sort of floats in mid-air. Very nice. So, you know, I really appreciate this. A lot of car makers have, you know, resort their gear levers to a tiny little thing there, but I believe these are really positive feedbacks and little jewelry sort of items that you interact with the car. It makes the special feeling there, right? And the park button, oh no, that's the parking button, that activates the sensors and all that, and auto parking and all that. These are really nice buttons. You know, the feel of it, the metallic feel of it is really good in terms of the quality of the feel. Now this looks a lot of stuff going on. Let's slowly go through them. Here you have a handle. Okay. Alright guys, that was part 1 during our EV event, and my video had to be cut short because I need to do work. Now let's continue. So they have announced the prices. Alright, the Q8 e-tron starts from 383,000, and of course the high-end model only 400 plus. And this is interesting, right? The first car in Malaysia with digital virtual side mirror, and this car is actually really good looking. All right, this one is of the size and profile of the RS6. All right, but then it's taller, it's higher up, right? The ground clearance is taller, so its ingress and egress would be much easier for this car. All right, so let's have a look at the rear seats. Wow. All right. So really nice. The doors open really easily. Let's come inside. Now, this is really nice because this car is not full-fledged SUV height, but it's taller than passenger. So you can just sit down like that. Let me see. The seats are perfect at the hip point. All right, the seats are perfect at the hip point, and then you get a panoramic roof. All right, rear seats are really comfy. The seat angles are a bit more slanted. So I would say this car, interior room wise, is slightly more spacious than the Q8. In terms of exterior, it's very near to the RS6, but you have sort of like a taller roof line. Okay, as you can see, I am 5'11", and I have like more than a palm of headroom at the back. And the seat angle of the back, the base and the backrest is more like that. You know, it's more of a relaxed position, and it's very comfortable, right? So again, unlike traditional SUVs whereby the floor to ceiling height is a lot taller, this one is a combination. It's an in-between of a regular sedan or wagon versus an SUV. There you can see the screen on the doors showing what the side mirror sees. That's a pretty unique thing, very new for the market. All right, and I think this car is going to attract a lot of attention because of its form factor. It is extremely practical, very stylish. It looks like you know, you see the Q8s or the Urus when they lower the air suspension. That is roughly how this car sits and looks like inside. All right, very, very nice. So in part one, that video you saw me in the passenger seat, the front seats and all that. So I've showed the rear seats, the footwells and all that are pretty nice. There's no tunnel, you know, USB-C port. The door bins are large. Very nice. You get a little blind over here. Very nice. Let's come to the rear. Oh, they're taking a picture. All right. Q8 e-tron. I like the little badge over there. And then the single line. Okay, let's open the boot. Okay. Now, in terms of the boot, you will see that the opening height doesn't go as really low, but then it's for ease of loading, you know, things go in and out easier. All right, you have the tonneau cover over here, and then you have this. Opens up to the space-saving spare wheel. You get some hooks here. You can pull this to lower the seats. Very practical, but not extremely large. All right, it is practical. Nice. Let's come and look at the sport back. Sport back, of course, you have the sloping back, and then it's a lot sportier. The boot is similar, but then of course, you know, it cuts off this part, so you can't put taller luggages over here. But everything else is largely similar to that. I mean, which is what is a very stylish cabin. Okay. And yep, Q8 and Q8 sport back, and there we go. This is also a sport back, but this is not the high spec one. This is, you know, the one with the regular side mirrors. All in a very stylish car. Okay, so you can look forward to Audi bringing in other e-tron models, you know, the Q4 and the rest. Now, they don't have as many dealers now, but trust me, Audi has big plans. They have big plans. So whether you stay in Central or Johor or not, you can rest assured they are preparing to embark on a nationwide expansion. Yeah, I'm very sure. Of course, they don't want to give empty promises. All right, but I know they have big plans for Malaysia. Yep, cheers.